Okay guys, here we go. Just starting again with our Intro to SolidWorks tutorial series. Got a little instance of SolidWorks open right here. And what I want to do for this one, this is going to be our third video on creating patterns in SolidWorks. And I want this one to line right up with our jewelry making project that we're about to do for the 3D printer. Creating and patterning features in SolidWorks is a great way to make some cool jewelry. So I figured I'd just go ahead and make something for you here, and you can see how it pans out. So one of the things that I did recently was I went up and just did some sketches, some late night sketches, and these are some ideas I had for a jewelry thing. Maybe it's a bracelet, maybe it's a ring. Had some cool stuff in here, but I wanted to pick something that would follow right along with our tutorial here. So I came up with maybe thinking about this little pattern that I've got here, this sort of X pattern, and maybe a bracelet or a ring. I got some other cool stuff in here, like maybe a ring that's got a plant in it, or some other ideas about maybe some sort of ring that holds pens or a bracelet that holds pens. But I think for our tutorial I'll go with this one here. And so I just want to show you guys how you can create some sketches and get them into SolidWorks and then work off them to create a design. So I had the option with this sketch. I mean, you can see that it's a lousy photo of the sketch. I just took a photo with my iPhone and just emailed it to myself, and then sent it as an attachment on my email, downloaded it off the email onto my desktop, and now I'm just going to open it up in Photoshop and prepare it to be put into SolidWorks. So I just got let's see, I just got photo 4 right there, dealing with Photoshop CC. You'll probably be using CS6, which is what the school has. There is my really dark and grainy image. I'm just going to rotate that, and I'm going to get in here with the selection tool and just crop out the bit of the sketch that I want, which will be there. There we go. Zoom in on that. All right. Deselect, and let me just get in here, throw some brightness on there, because this photo that I took was done late at night and it came out really bad. But the point is that you don't have to have a real slick sketch when you're just trying to use a little teeny scrap of inspiration to get started on a model. You just need a general hint of where you want to go. Okay, so that's feeling good. I'm going to get back in there maybe and mess around with the levels a little bit. Adjustments, levels. How about curves? Maybe levels. There it is. Okay, so throw this guy over. Throw this one over. Yeah, it's pretty messy. Pretty messy in there. Okay. Okay, we'll just call it at that. I'm going to go ahead and do a save as. I'll call this Photo 5 on the desktop. There we go. Get rid of Photoshop and fire up SolidWorks. I'm going to create a new document. There we go. Okay, now, so we've got our sketch. We want to put it into SolidWorks. Here's how we do that. We go to the Sketch tab of the Command Manager, and we see that there is this Sketch Picture button that's right here in the Command Manager. Now, it's grayed out right now, and that's because I need to actually start and activate a sketch on a plane in order for this to work. Don't forget, we ran into this in class a couple of times. A lot of these sketch tools are going to be grayed out until you open and activate a sketch. So if they're grayed out and you can't select them, then fire off a sketch and you'll see that they all pop into shape. Okay, so I'm going to go here to the front plane. I'm going to go to Sketch, and you can see that now I have this option for Sketch Picture. And if we hover over it, it says adds an image file into a sketch background. So I'll click on that. Here's my original. Here's photo number 5. Fantastic. I'm going to hit open, and I'm going to zoom way out. Okay. So there is my sketch, and you can see it took the lower left-hand corner of the sketch and plopped it right onto the origin. So that's that. Now, what I want to do, I'm going to make a bracelet out of this, and I want this thing to be flipped horizontally. So there's probably some buttons over here that'll do that. Let's hope so. Flip horizontal? No. How about flip vertical? No, that's not going to do it. Let's take a look in here. Here's one. What's this say? Angle. Okay, right now it's at 0. What if it was at 90? That's what I was looking for. Okay, good. All right, so flipped it sideways. Now I can just grab it and move it around, and I want to kind of center the sketch into right over the center of the origin, because this is a symmetrical design now, and I'm just going to mess with the angles a little bit here. There we go, because I want it to be horizontal. There we go. This is a symmetrical sketch, so what I'm thinking is that I'm going to build one side of the sketch here, and then I'm going to mirror it over, and then I'm going to mirror the top down to the bottom. Okay, so that's the plan. Now I've got this thing kind of horizontally aligned with sort of the center of this sketch right over the origin, and so I am happy with that. One more thing I want to do, I want to drop the transparency of this sketch down so that anything I build over or under it, I'll be able to see. I don't want it to block anything from my view, okay? So in order to do that, you go over here to transparency inside of the property manager for the sketch picture, and you go to full image, and it brings up a little transparency thing, and you can just kind of throw that down to about 70, whatever. This thing is just going to be giving us a little hint on what we want to make. So, all right, hit the green checkbox to confirm, and we will now exit this sketch. Let's take a look over into the design tree, and we'll see that SolidWorks has entered this sketch that we did, this picture, into the design tree as just a regular sketch. And we can unfold that sketch, and then we'll see our sketch picture is there too. So we can click on that and then click on the picture again if we wanted to, scale it or anything like that. So undo. I'm trying to hit undo. Just hit the red X. There we go. Get it back where we started. Okay, now let's think. So we're going to be making a bracelet. I've just got my digital calipers out right now, and I'm going to turn those on and take some measurements on my wrist to try to decide how big I want this thing to be. As I open up the calipers over my wrist, I'm thinking I want it to be probably about maybe 10 or 12 millimeters wide, okay? And I'm talking about millimeters now, and so I want to switch my document to millimeters. Down here in the lower right-hand corner, there's this IPS button right here, and if you hover over it, it says, well, it flashes, it says inch, pound, second. Open that up, and you can just go ahead and switch it to millimeters, and now all of your units will be switched to millimeters. Okay, good. So, like I was saying, I want to make a bracelet that's going to be 12 millimeters wide. So that means from the top of this sketch to the bottom should be 12 millimeters. The best way to do that is just to draw out a box as a guide. I'm going to draw this box on the same plane, front plane, and I'm just going to draw out a box that's hopefully going to match with the width of my sketch. And so then I will apply a smart dimension to see how big is this thing. Wow, 120 millimeters. Okay, so what did I say? 12 millimeters. And I'm gonna define a width as well. Probably like something, let's do 12 again. Okay, so what we learn now from our dimension tool and from dropping a box on there is that this sketch came in absolutely massive. So I'm going to exit the rectangle, and I'm going to scale down this sketch now, this sketch picture. So you can just double click on it, and just like in Photoshop or Illustrator, you can just hold down Shift and just scale it down just like that. Drag it back over to where we started. Zoom in on it. Zoom in. And scale it again. And so now that we know the diameter, or sorry, now that we know the size of this box, which is 12 millimeters by 12 millimeters, I'm just trying to scale the sketch so that it is in the neighborhood of the size that we want. Okay. Don't forget, SolidWorks is going to handle all the precision, so this sketch doesn't need to actually be that precisely sized. We just need to make sure it's telling us the information we need to get our design down. Okay? All right, that looks about right, and so now I'm happy with that, and I'm going to hit the green checkbox and confirm, and I'm a happy camper. Great. I've got this sketch here with my dimensions on it, 12 by 12. I've got my sketch placed into the document, and now I am ready to start making a sketch. Now that I know that this sketch picture is the right size, 12 by 12, I'm going to go ahead and just hide this rectangle with my dimensions on it because I don't need to look at it anymore. I really don't. Not edit sketch, excuse me. I have to hide sketch. Okay, good. There we go. All right. Now, that is how you make a sketch and Photoshop it and drop it into SolidWorks. I'm going to shut down this tutorial right here and let you try all of that. And so I want you to make some sketches and throw them into SolidWorks and then scale them down to the size that you would like to trace them at. And then I'm going to fire up another tutorial in our next bit, and we're going to start doing the line work here, and I'm going to start tracing out some of this sketch here using our sketch tools that we all know how to use so well. Okay, so stay tuned in, and we're going to keep it going. Okay.